Jem is my name, no one else is the same. Jem is my name. Jem.
Hey, where are the misfits? Where are they? They're not in this episode. I demand misfits! Oh well, no misfits this episode. No misfits, so I don't know, what is there to talk about? I guess I could talk about what's actually in the episode. So, little Laura is staying at the Starlight House. Her parents were killed in a car accident some time back, and I don't think it was explicitly stated, but I'm getting the sense that she's been moving house to house because she's not dealing with stuff very well. She's 14, parents died. That's some tough stuff. So she comes to stay at the Starlight House, and she's having trouble making friends. She doesn't think she's good at anything. Whenever she sees other people, she's like, they're better than I am, they're prettier than I am. We learned Ashley's last name. I think it's Larson, if I'm remembering correctly. She's playing ping pong with Bonnie, and she loses. Of course she loses. Because Bonnie hits hard. Don't mess with Bonnie. Anyway, so Laura sits alone in a room and with her guitar, and she sings Alone Again, the titular song. It's a nice little song. What's funny, when she starts it, she's animating as just moving up and down the fretboard really quickly, and I'm like, there's not that many chord changes. I don't know what you're doing here. That's a little overly animated, but that's okay. So Jem had noticed that she had a guitar, and she says, hey, you want to jam with the Holograms while you're here? And she's like, no, I suck. And she's like, hey, you don't have to, but, head on over to the rec room once you get settled, and, all the kids are there. And they're trying their best to make her feel at home, and she's just having none of it. Again, because, just lost her parents, having a hard time feeling in, got really low, fitting in, has really low self-esteem, and is not ready to deal with that yet. So anyway, the Holograms hear her song, and they're like, hey, you're fantastic. Why don't you sing a guest spot on during our concert? She says, I couldn't do that. I'm mediocre at best. And Kimber says, what's the matter? Chicken? She says, I'm not a chicken. And she says, oh, well, I guess you'd be okay singing a spot on our concert then. She's like, fine. And Kimber's like, and the Holograms are like, what was that? And Kimber says, oh, it's a psychological trick I use with my many boyfriends when they're not as experimental as they should be in the bedroom. So that's my headcanon. That didn't actually happen. So Laura is at school and hanging out on a teeter-totter, and little Bobby Braddock comes up and he says, hey, you're Laura Holloway, right? Yeah, I hacked the school system and found out who you were because I think you're good-looking and I wanted to get to know you. She's like, oh gosh, you think I'm good-looking? And he's like, yeah, man, and you seem down. Maybe these pills will help. Let me check my mic here. Okay, just making sure I had the mic on, because I had a mic problem like 2 episodes ago. Oh, speaking of which, episode before last, they started using the original JEM theme. Which I appreciate, because the JEM Girls' second theme, yeah, still not feeling it. Unfortunately, this episode went back to that, so that's unfortunate in my very humble but inerrant opinion. Okay, so little Bobby Braddock is, he's hawking pills at school, and she takes them, and he says, oh, they'll make you feel better, they'll make you play better, and she's like, well, I suck, so if they help me play better. So she takes one pill, and immediately starts hallucinating. And it's like, whee! I'm a bird, I can fly. And she, apparently her room's in the attic, so she walks out the window. She's on the very top of the building. She's like, I can fly like a bird. And Jerica's down there. She says, no, you can't. I've been on this earth for 20-some years, and I'm pretty confident in telling you that you cannot fly like a bird or anything else that flies. You will fall to your death, and I'll feel bad. Please stop it. And Laura luckily gives her a count of 10 before she hurls herself off the roof. So Jerica runs upstairs, breaks down the door, which is locked. It's hard on the shoulders, but she plows through. I would have got Bonnie. She would have punched that door open, because Bonnie hits hard. Yeah. So she runs out on the roof, and Laura falls, but Jerica grabs her like by the upper arm with one hand and just hauls her back up. It's like, damn. Jerica's been working out. So Jerica's like, hey, I don't want to overstep my bounds, but you don't happen to be like on drugs or anything, you know? Erratic behavior, about to jump off the roof, hallucinations. It's kind of a tip-off. She goes, no, leave me alone. So that's what this episode's about. It's ham-handed in the way you would expect a cartoon from the 80s to be. But again, its heart is in the right place, and it does a lot of good things. As you may expect, Bobby, the first one's free, and she goes back, and he's like, hey, $30. So she steals money from Jerica's purse and runs away, and while she's looking for Bobby, Ashley is there fretting over her upcoming history test, and she runs into Bobby, and he's like, hey, you're Ashley, right? Well, you're cute, and here, have some drugs that will help you with your history test. She's like, oh, God, I need all the help I can get. And Laura's like, oh, golly, gee willikers, he's a drug dealer, and I've been suckered, but now I'm kind of got a drug problem, and that blows. So she wanders out of the school and runs into Jerica, and she says, I'm sorry. And Jerica's solution is to beat the shit out... No, I'm just kidding. No, she takes her to a group thing with other kids who have similar life circumstances. So I'm glad this show was above the pat but expected 80s just say no. So, good job, show. Again, not perfectly executed and heavy-handed, but heart's in the right place, and I respect that. There's a lot of good stuff here. They both Laura and Ashley end up working with the police for a sting operation to catch Bobby selling drugs, and he goes to jail for a long time. And I'm thinking, he's a minor though, right? I mean, he's in high school with the kids, he's a kid, right? He's not going to prison for a long time for selling drugs. Unless he's in his 20s, I don't know how old this kid is supposed to be. But really, all they need to do was send Bonnie after him. She'd have set him straight. Oh, one more thing that I found interesting. In the middle of the episode, after the first drug trip, Laura's having problems with motor skills. She's, she accidentally drops a jug of orange juice on someone when they say, "Hey, pass the juice." She's like, "Okay." Oh God. Her thoughts are frazzled. It's just making everything worse, and they cue up the music to Nightmare. And I was thinking, whoa, wait a minute. Are we going to start repeating songs from this season? I know every episode has at least one song from last season, But Nightmare was introduced in like episode 4 or so, the fourth episode of the second season, the fan episode. Are we actually going to reprise a song introduced in the same season? But it was just instrumental. And I was like, okay, well, that's an appropriate musical cue to use here. And then they do it again.
Laura, could you pass the orange juice, please?
Sure.
Oh! My new dress! Look what you've done!
And I'm like, oh, are we doing this? But no, just a musical cue. And then they do the song.
I need it to get by till the concert.
So you'll also need to cough up $30. I'll catch you later.
Please, Bobby, please.
Everything's going in circles. Everyone's so intense.
So, episode or season 2 is not beyond reprising songs from season 2. So it'll be interesting to see how often that happens. But that's the last episode on this DVD, so I've got some editing to do.
Don't move. Let's talk first.